We are doing this makeup look today, full glam, so follow along and let's go. Today we're going to do a full face of glam. Someone asked me to show my full face. All I have on my face so far is sunscreen and a little moisturizer that's in Realise. And then we're going to start, I do a lot of high-low. This is the Rock. It's just sort of like it almost functions like Vaseline. I have really dry skin and it kind of fills in the cracks. So I just put that basically under my eyes and around my mouth. That's where I get my eczema. So now that we have my base done, I am going to, one more thing I forgot. I love the Lumify drops. Besides my super dry skin and my eczema, I'm allergic to everything. My entire life. So that helps my eyes. Okay. First step, this is full glam. This is what I would speak in a conference. This is if we're going somewhere and I want to look really nice. I actually usually wear this day to day, honestly. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer in the color Sculpted. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is an underpainting technique I learned from a lady here on TikTok called Ask Ellen. She is so talented. So basically we're drawing in our bone structure here. Around the forehead, around the cheeks, around the nose, and then we're drawing in our jawline. And then I'm taking a darker color of foundation and I'm going to go over that. And I'm just pumping that out onto my hand. This is Vita Liberata. I don't know. I learned this on TikTok from somebody. It's a body blur in the color medium. This stuff is fantastic. On my wedding day, I wore this all over my body. My eczema was pretty bad. I mean, my entire arms, my chest, everything had makeup on it. So we're just going to go in with this medium color foundation and we're just going to work that into the areas that we put the contour on. And we're just kind of making them less crazy looking. I'm going to need a little bit more. I actually don't use a ton of concealer. You would look at my skin and think that I would use a ton of concealer, but I don't. I mostly use my complexion products, do most of the heavy lifting. The only place I really use concealer is around my eyes. Okay. So you don't have to worry too much about getting it super blended because we're going to go at the end and kind of knit it all together. All right, now we're going to take our light colors here. So basically the middle of your face is going to be a lighter tone. And I'm going to put concealer just under my eyes. This is Tower 28 in the shade K-Town. And then this is a Maybelline Lifter Stick in the shade 05. It is extremely light. So the whole point of this is to get a lot of contrast in your features. And it photographs and films really well. So just the middle of your face is where that's going to go. And then just like before, I have a lighter color foundation. This is the same brand as this. So it's the Vita Liberata, but this is the Luminous BBCC cream. And it's also a medium, but it's quite a bit lighter than the body, what they market as body makeup that I use on my face. So now we're just going to go over that middle section that we've basically drawn on. We're going to soften that with the foundation. Kind of what I've learned, I realize I'm like not a makeup person, but I think I'm pretty good at transforming my shitty skin to something that's beautiful, at least on camera. It may not be perfect in real life, but kind of what I've learned that separates makeup artists from like just somebody at home is the amount of layers. So a makeup artist is going to do a bunch of very thin layers, and someone at home is not going to do as many layers and not going to do them as thin. And then the second thing is blend, blend, blend. That's kind of my learnings from working with makeup artists. Before my last event, I actually had a friend of mine who's a makeup artist watch me do my makeup and critique me because she wasn't going to be in Europe to do my makeup. And doubled down. Like she said, you're not wrong. That's really, anybody can do what I do. It's just having the patience to sit there and do it and figure out what products work for you. I just took the Hero Hero Wonder Blackgrass Probiotics Essence. That's a mouthful. And a beauty blender. And I'm just, instead of getting it wet with water, I'm getting it wet with that product. And I'm going to use this to blend my whole face so that there's no harsh. We just painted light and dark. So you just want to make sure that these transitions are kind of seamless and they don't look freaking crazy. The other thing that for me this helps with making sure that I'm getting like my ears and my hairline. I'm pretty crappy about taking the brush and making sure it runs all the way. And we just don't want any harsh edges. There's a mirror right under here if you think, what am I doing? So that looks pretty good to me. So this is our complexion for my blush. This is Charlotte Tilbury and Rosy Glow. These blushes are unreal, y'all. I know they're not inexpensive, but I have not found anything that's as good as this. That's drugstore. They look so nice. So I kind of take my blush all over my face. So you see, it's mostly on my cheeks, but I'm also putting it on my eyes, and then I'm going to just put it on the bridge of my nose, and then a little bit on my chin, and then I usually put it on my lips. Now I'm just making sure there's no harsh edges. This brush I've been using the whole time is from Jessup, and it's on Amazon. It's just like the Mario F1 brush. I don't actually have the Mario F1 brush, but I hear that this is very similar to it, and I love it so much. I've bought like 3 of these. They are great. So I do all my complexion with that, and then my blush, and then bronzer with this other end. So for bronzer, I just got this Chanel bronzer, and I'm loving it. If you've heard this hyped up, it's for a reason. It's good stuff. And I got this in a medium shade. And I'm just kind of pretty much going over wherever the sun would naturally hit me. My upper forehead, my cheeks. And do a little bit along my jaw. Just go back through one more time and make sure that's really blended. So that's what I would call my complexion. I'm going to take Milani Make It Last Moisture Boost and give that a squirt. And now we're going to switch to what I would call my details. So my eyes, my lips. I'm going to take, this is the Maybelline Lifter Liner in the shade Line Leader. This is freaking beautiful. I don't know if I mentioned this. I am usually kind of medium in tone, and I'm a soft summer. So if that helps you at all with the color. And this is the Maybelline Super Lock Brow Gel in medium brown. I really like this. My brows are pretty stubborn. I tried to have them laminated once, but I don't know if I reacted to the solution. It really hurt. It like burned. I had like scabs in my eyebrows. I'll be doing that again. They're unruly, but they're thick and luscious, so I just, whatever. I'm over it. Next is eyeshadow, and this is Makeup by Mario and Mauve. I just put this on my actual eyelid. It dries very fast. This is also a Jessup brush, and bring it underneath as well. That color is kind of my same color, but that's my skin tone, but better kind of eye color. And I bought a new eye pencil I want to use yesterday. This is the Sephora collection in Shimmer Espresso. It looked like a beautiful, cool toned brown. If I can get this open. One thing about me is I'm freaking lazy. I hate sharpening pencils. So if I can get an eyeliner that's already gonna be retractable, it's my favorite. Geez, I had to get a knife to open that. It was serious. So what I was saying is I'm very lazy about sharpening pencils. I don't know why. It's just how I'm made. So I really like, if something's retractable, I really like that. So we're going to tight line. And then we're going to also do the tops of our eyelashes. It is a really pretty color. And then I just like to take that same eyeshadow brush that I just used and kind of smudge that out. And then we're going to take, this is the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream palette. And we're just going to take an angled brush and we're going to go over this with powder. This is going to kind of lead us into the rest of this makeup is going over everything with the powder so that it lasts. And it also, for my skin, it helps blur my texture and imperfections. There's the eyeshadow. All right. This is Huda powder and cherry blossom cake. I'm just going to take a puff. My daughter actually got me into this powder. I didn't think a powder could be so blurring. I actually did something I shouldn't have did. I'm going to take this brush and just kind of make sure see if you can tell the difference. Just flattening out anything that could have creased. So pretty much I just powdered the center of my face and around my mouth and then up my jaw. That just really helps clean up any blush or bronzer that's kind of got too low. It'll aid you. And now I'm going to take my Hourglass Ambient Powder. This is the Swan palette. I got this last fall, I guess. I'm just going with the bronzer, this bronzer shade, but I do kind of sweep. This is a bronzer, finishing powder, and a highlighter. These powders are beautiful. I didn't understand the hype around. Anywhere that I put bronzer or contour earlier, I'm just going over that with this. And then I bring it also down to my chest just so it all kind of ties in. And then the blushes, I just like I did with the bronzer, I kind of just sweep it across there. This powder has the most beautiful, it's not glittery, but it's illuminating. You see how my skin, it just makes my skin look really healthy and beautiful. So anywhere I put that blush earlier, I just go over it with the blush. So highly recommend that Hourglass palette, and they're not cheap, but unfortunately it's one of those things that's worth it. And then this is the YSL M44. I just use this kind of right at the point of my cheeks to kind of deepen that up and make it look like I have actual makeup on. We're going to do one more. That's with the Milani setting spray. All right, one last thing. This is a NYX Vivid Rich Pencil in Quartz Queen. I'm just going to take this at the bottom of my waterline. My right there gets red, so this like pale pink nude color really helps my eyes not look so tired. All right, and then what do I want for lip? This is MAC Syrup, one of my favorite. That's so pretty. And then we're going to do our lashes. I forgot one thing. This is the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in Vanilla Kiss. I'm just going to use this kind of as a highlight. You could use a highlight to do this or a white eyeshadow. And then I'm just going to take the other end of my powder brush I used earlier, also a dress-up brush, and just kind of blend those in a little bit. And I usually kind of leave inside my eyes kind of. That step, I don't know why, it really, for me, makes my eyes pop. And I get lots of compliments on it. This is the Better Than Sex Foreplay Primer from Too Faced. See my little rescue puppy back there. That's Bonzel Marie, and she's not supposed to be on the bed, but she's just living her best life. We love her so much. She has healed my heart since we lost my French Bulldog unexpectedly earlier this year. It was horrible. Sorry, I'm not telling you what I'm doing. This is L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal in black brown. And I usually use brown or black brown mascaras just because I am a soft summer. You really shouldn't be using them. You can do whatever you want. But I think that I look better with a black brown mascara. It is still very dark. Now, This is one of my secret weapons. I even turned my friend that's a makeup artist on to these. These are lash clusters from Amazon, and they are in brown. Zanulufly, and they're already adhesive. They're like $9 for this whole case. You can see I'm almost to the end. The 16s I kind of reserve for like date night, speaking. The 14s and the 12s are my kind of everyday. They make the biggest difference. So I'm going to put a 14 on the edge of my eye, and it just kicks up the end of your lashes so pretty. And then I'm going to take a 12 right next to that just to blend it in the rest of my eye. I used to use Lashify, and I would leave them on for like a week. I don't know. They were really expensive, and it seemed like every day I was having to touch up an eyelash, and I'm not about that. So anyway, I just throw these away at the end of the day because that whole case was $9. Anyway, I'm gonna go do my hair, and I'll be back and we'll look at my makeup. Here is the final makeup look. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.